welcome. I'm with Tetch, and I'm here with Jarid Scott, who's a glitch artist from Salt Lake City, Utah. You want to tell us a little bit about yourself, Jared, please?
Yeah, sure. I've been doing art since like high school in various forms. I tried doing pretty much everything I could. I tried my hand at music for a while. I was super into photography for a while. And then, I went to school. Like I have a degree and I have a bachelor's of fine arts in digital art and photography. And I graduated in December of 2012, and then for the next couple of years, I was kind of lost for a while. I wasn't really feeling inspired, wasn't making a whole lot. And then one day, I saw a friend of mine on social media was trying to like challenge herself to like get back into being creative. So she did this challenge for herself where for a year straight, she tried to like take a photograph of some sort. And I thought, wow, that's like a really cool way to kind of like force yourself to get the creative juices flowing. I want to do something like that. But I didn't want to do photography. So I was trying to think like, what is something I can feasibly do in a day from start to finish? And I remembered in my undergrad, I'd kind of started dabbling and looking to glitch art a little bit, being heavily inspired by Rob Sheridan's work with Nine
Mm-hmm.
Inch Nails. And I was like, I bet I was pretty good at tinkering around with stuff in Photoshop and making little edits. So I'm like, I bet I could like make some sort of like little glitchy picture every day for a year. And that's kind of what I did for 365 days. I made a glitch picture of some sort from start to finish, and it kind of really started kicking things off. This was in 2016. And then since then, I kind of decided to like really lean into this digital artist, freelancer, glitch artist guy kind of person. And now it's 2021 and I'm still at it.
So yeah, so why exactly glitch art though? What made you think glitch art was the one for you?
Um, I've always just really resonated with that aesthetic. I love that sweet spot between completely abstract and still kind of recognizable forms. Even like before I got into glitch art, I was really into kind of like playing around with distorted realities, abstract expressionism, which I love, like the painting movement, but I still like having some sort of semblance of form and figure in there. And I found that glitch art was kind of a really awesome and refreshing way to kind of accomplish that, where it's like, how much I can take this picture, how much can I break it down and destroy it while still having something you can kind of recognize and resonate with in there? And I don't know, it feels like the more that our world gets deeper and deeper into being a digital world and everyone's online all the time, I feel like there's kind of this weird place where we're both extremely connected but also very isolated at the same time. And it's something I kind of feel constantly. And I feel like glitch art specifically is a great way to kind of represent that feeling of isolation but togetherness and kind of just like things falling apart, but it's still there in some sort of way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it kind of does.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a lot like well, some would say it's a bit like the Matrix, being in the Matrix and feeling it all fall apart. And
totally. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly it.
yeah, so you started this 100-day project now back in the start of April,
Yes,
right?
yes, I did.
And
Oh, sorry.
no, and you say it was inspired by Nine Inch Nails.
Yes, yes, it was. It is. So I guess like going back to that first year-long project. Since then, I haven't done another year-long one, but I have done a couple 100-day projects, which I feel is still a great challenge, but it's a little more manageable at the same time
Mm-hmm.
because you're not dedicating a whole year to it exactly. It's a little more than 3 months. And the first 100-day project I did was kind of curated by someone else. Another person was creating the prompts that I had to make from every day. And then I did a second one where it was just on my own and I didn't really have any sort of theme other than trying to make something from start to finish every day. So I kind of wanted to step the challenge up a bit this time and kind of have some sort of overarching connecting theme, bring all the pieces together. And I've kind of already said it already, but I'm a huge Rob Sheridan fan. I'm a huge Nine Inch Nails fan. His art and their music are like two of my biggest inspirations for the stuff that I create. So I was like, Nine Inch Nails has a huge catalog of music. I could make one picture every day inspired by a different Nine Inch Nails song. And that's kind of what kicked it off. It was actually there was one day that I was listening to The Fragile and The Great Below came on, and I just felt like really inspired to make something that kind of created that feeling that The Great Below puts off. And that was the very first piece in this 100-day one. And then it was kind of after that where I was like, I kind of like how this feels. I want to keep doing this more. And then it turned into this 100-day long project.
Yeah, I'm looking at this first piece here, The Great Below, and it's a very interesting piece. You know, lots of grey, blue, and kind of tan.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I really, some of them I feel like the color is very important, and some of it's more about the composition of the piece. And The Great Below felt like I had to get the colors just right for it because it's such a moody song, for lack of a better word. And I felt like the grays and blues kind of really brought out that feeling of kind of despair that Trent has in his voice and in the lyrics of that track.
You know, the kind of darkness and closing in a little oppressiveness.
Exactly. Yes.
So you started with all these. Are you doing them literally one day, one per day, or are you just kind of edging a little and kind of cheating and
yeah, so far I have been mostly trying to do one from start to finish every day, kind of like I don't know if you're familiar with Beeple's work at all. He's another digital artist. He is also a big inspiration for these kinds of projects. So he's a digital artist. He kind of plays with a lot of different mediums. He mostly does kind of like 3D images, but for the past 13 years, he's made a new image from start to finish every day. Wow. He just keeps going from year after year into these everyday projects. So I tried to do that just because I feel like it's a good exercise, but I'm also practical. And like, if I know that like, oh, I have a busy day coming up this week and I won't have time to probably make one from start to finish that I feels like at like a nice quality level, I might start one and finish it up the next day. But I mostly try to keep it one per day just because I kind of like the ritual of it, if that makes sense.
Oh, perfectly. Yeah. I mean, the aim is not just the ideological purity of doing it one per day.
Exactly. Yes.
Right. Yeah. I mean, so that's 4,500 images. If I've done my mental maths right, over 13 years. That's a lot.
Yeah, that guy's got a hustle that I can't even imagine. Like that is some dedication.
I mean, and also you got to worry about repeating. Certainly, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah, exactly. Trying to like not only the arduous task of making something from start to finish every day, but also trying to like not just make the exact same thing over and over again. Mad respect for people.
Yeah, I'm looking at this kaleidoscope of these first 30 images, and every one of them is very, very different.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I try. Thank you very much.
I mean, I have a personal favorite, but we'll come to that in a little bit.
Okay.
So what tools exactly do you use when you come to do it?
Yep. So the majority of my images these days, and especially for this one right now, all the images kind of come from two different programs. One is a very simple script running program called Processing. It's really just a program that you write a script for, and it performs some sort of function. And a artist named Kim Assendorf, it had to have been 5 or 6, 7 years ago, wrote this script called ASDF Pixel Sorter that you run with this program called Processing. And basically what it does is it'll take a digital image and it will kind of separate the pixels in the image depending upon their lightness and darkness values.
Mm-hmm.
And you can kind of manipulate it a bit depending upon which sort of light dark values it tends to favor. So I'll take an unedited photograph and I'll run it through this program about 12 times, kind of manipulating the variables. So then at the end, I'll have like 12 kind of really differently broken, distorted images. And then I'll take all of them and throw them in Photoshop, and I'll kind of copy and paste and collage my favorite pieces of each one into a single image.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just use Photoshop, as most people would, just kind of tweak the coloration and what's the word I'm looking for? Like the light. Yeah, the colors and stuff like that. And that's kind of how my images come from those two programs.
Okay. So they all look, as I say, wonderful, and some very, very vibrant. And you say they're all inspired by Nine Inch Nails songs. So we got the first one. So
Yes.
Is each one a certain songs just hit you and you thought, okay, that's the one?
Yeah, kind of. So with The Great Below, that one was really kind of like I wanted to make an image based on The Great Below. And then since then, kind of what I do is I have like a giant catalog of images to use from, between stuff that I've taken and stock imagery that's free to use.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll pretty much kind of scroll through my library of unedited images and kind of just look at one while thinking about it and listening to Nine Inch Nails music. And if I see a certain composition that kind of gives me like a small hint or thought relating to a Nine Inch Nails song, I'll take it, I'll throw it in the pixel sorting machine, and then I'll kind of try to tweak it with the colors to represent how the song sounds to me, at least. So that's kind of how I do it every day. I'll pick out the image that reminds me of a song, and then I'll try to take that image and make it more into the song if I can.
Okay, nice. And you're using the full catalog all the way back to right to the beginning.
Yeah, totally. I have stuff. I'm trying to think. Did I do a Pretty Hate Machine one yet? I know I've done Broken, and then we're not going to cover this today, but I just broke into my first Ghosts song today. So the Ghosts albums aren't off limits either.
I saw that,
Yeah.
And that was one of my first experiences with Rob as well, actually interviewing him when that came out.
Oh, nice.
For Torrent Freak, when they put those up on the Pirate Bay.
Yeah, I remember that was so cool that they just released all those for free. Yep. Like, that was awesome.
That was, although of course I remember back when they were the music for Quake.
Oh yeah, God, I'm so glad that Quake finally got its official release in the Nine Inch Nails discography now. So I guess technically even Quake songs could be part of my project now, because it's like officially a Nine Inch Nails album finally.
Maybe some of them could be paired with actual screenshots from.
Ooh, that's an interesting thought. Yeah, I like that.
Like a screenshot from Ziggurat Vertigo or something would look really cool.
Oh no! Okay, now the wheels are turning in my head. That's a great idea.
Glad I could help with that.
Yeah, thank you.
So yeah, and a lot of these now you're selling as NFTs, right?
Yeah. So I've been doing NFT stuff for the past almost 3 years. I think I started in 2019, and it's kind of a weird balance of like trying to figure out what I want to tokenize as an NFT or not. There was one particular one that I felt really kind of stood out to me as one that could be a great NFT, and that was the Day 6 for the Becoming. I made an animated version of it specifically just to kind of make it a little more special. And then I was kind of not sure if I wanted to tokenize all of these or not. And I actually had a collector reach out to me who was super into the Day 26, the Happiness is Slavery one, and he basically made an offer to me. He was like, hey, if you tokenize this, I'll buy it from you. And I took him up on it. So I'm sure some of the other ones will get minted as NFTs at some point, but I don't know if I'm going to do all of them or not. It's kind of still trying to kind of figure that out.
Okay, I'll day 24 is my favorite, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the a copy of A.
Oh yes, that one was, I had a lot of fun making that one. That was actually an image that I've edited before, and I wanted to revisit it because one thing I've learned in my, what is it, going on 5 or 6 years of doing this, is like I'm constantly, the nice thing about everyday projects and 100-day projects is like it's a great way to increase your skill level, like just the repetition of it. And I like going back to certain images and trying to like take another shot at them because I like to see how I can improve upon it. And that was one that I had edited a while ago, and I think I outdid myself with this one, if not to pat myself on the back too much, but I also really like that one a lot.
It's almost prismatic in its qualities in many ways.
Oh. Yeah, exactly.
Psychedelic. It reminds me of I think I said at the time the drug in the movie Dread.
Oh, yeah, totally. I can totally see that. Yeah.
So
Thank you.
It's. I mean, that took them a lot of time to do that effect. They said it took like 10 hours per second of shot.
Oh, jeez.
That
can't.
Yeah.
Oh,
that. But then again, it was 2012 as well. So you're talking about, was it first generation core processors and stuff. So not quite where we are now, but
yeah, true. But yeah, wow, that is some dedication. 10 hours per second. Oof.
Just to get all that this kind of vibrancy and color into it. So yeah.
Yeah, totally. Well, it paid off.
Oh yeah.
It looked great. Yeah.
Not as much as then say you talking them. So you started NFTs long before I even really heard of them being a thing. 3 years.
Yeah, I kind of accidentally fell into it, honestly. At the time, I was using the social network Elo a lot, which I guess, I don't know. For people who don't know, like Elo started kind of like way back in like 2013, and it was supposed to kind of be this like rival to Facebook. Like it was supposed to be like open source and minimal and free, and they weren't going to sell your information. And then I remember I like signed up for it, and I was like, okay, now what? And then I kind of forgot about it. And somewhere between 2013 and like 2019, Elo kind of transformed into this art-centric social network where it was kind of like a really classy deviant art. It's like the best way I could put it. And I didn't even realize it until a friend of mine like started posting on it, and she was sharing her stuff a lot. I'm like, oh, I forgot about Elo. And I logged back into it, and I found out it was kind of this great art community. So I started posting there a lot. And at the time, one of the early NFT marketplaces, Maker's Place, was kind of using Elo as a place to try to seek out artists to get them on their platform. And I kept getting emails from one of their team members, and it kind of sounded like it was just kind of like a generic robot copy paste sort of text. So I kind of ignored it for a while. And then another friend of mine posted on a Discord group I was on about like, hey, I just won this contest on Maker's Place. And I was like, oh, what? That sounds familiar. Why do I know that? And then I looked into it, and I was like, oh, this is a legit thing. This is real. So then I finally responded to the guy, and he's like, yeah, that was me all 6 times I emailed you. I just kind of figured you weren't interested. I'm like, no, I'll check it out. So they signed me up, and that was actually the start of my first 100-day project. At the time, as a community builder, they wanted to do this 100-day project for all the members on their Discord server. So every day, one of their team members would give us a prompt, and we'd have to make an image for it. And I was the only person in that group who actually made all 100 days, and I actually minted all 100 pieces I made and as an NFT on their platform. And they were all in an edition of 10. And those were like my first 100 NFTs was that project. So yeah, I didn't like super know what they were at the time. Like I'm still learning, but at the time I was like, what, a unique digital print? That doesn't make sense to me. Now, understanding the technology better and how it works, it's a really cool idea actually. So yeah.
I know it's something that Rob has said he's getting into as well with his.
Yeah. He I think it was about 4 months ago, I was sending him some private messages, just being like, hey, dude, this seems like something you'd be into. You got to check it out. And he's like, give me a couple months. I'll get into it in early 2021. And sure enough, he's starting to get into it, and he's seen some success. So I'm happy for him. Yeah.
Not quite onto your level yet, though.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to speak for Rob too much, but I know that he has had some. I mean, I'm sure if anyone's listening is aware of NFTs, there's some controversy surrounding it due to its global climate impact practices and its
Energy use, yeah.
energy usage. And I know, a lot of the platforms are trying to work on bettering it, but it's not perfect right now. And Rob has a very left-leaning audience who maybe have some kind of gut reactions to the phrase NFT or crypto art. And I think Rob is very interested in it, and he wants to see where it goes because it's kind of his whole thing. He loves art and technology, and this is kind of like the perfect marriage of them. So he's trying to kind of balance, how do I explore this more without alienating all of my fans at the same time? So
that's the problem with every new technology in many ways. Is
yes,
yeah.
Totally.
I wonder how many were alienated again by the Ghosts release on torrent. Sort of.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, exactly.
Or even with the video game, you've sold out, sort of thing with Quake.
Yeah, no, yeah, totally. I mean, Trent's seen his fair share of controversial backlash too. I feel like, it's a losing battle if you're trying to make everybody happy all the time. Something you do is always going to tick someone off, and yeah.
So yeah, so I noticed recently you started to do some animated pieces on. I noticed on your Twitter. Would you like to tell me a little about how you started with that and why?
Yeah, sure. That's definitely kind of something I'm very interested in, but I would also say it's kind of not my strongest suit. I'm very good with static images. Animation is kind of a whole other game that I'm just trying to start getting into. Right now, I pretty much am just using this I don't want to say it's like cheating, but it's this very simple and easy to use app for the iPhone. I'm trying to remember what it's called. I think it's called Motion Leap is the name of the app. Yeah, it's called Motion Leap. And it kind of just you can take a static image and pull it in there, and with kind of some rudimentary finger drawing, you can kind of create these they're called plotographs. It's kind of like this looping, repeating animated video that kind of implies motion with a static image, where it just kind of like perfectly loops, and as like lines move, they kind of fade away and reappear, so it kind of gives this illusion of like a constant flowing sort of state. So right now most of my animated pieces are just made with that. Like I'll just create a static image, throw it in this app, and kind of add some looping motion to it. But I'd really love to like start learning like After Effects or something, and kind of like having more intentional, deliberate animation rather than kind of this I don't want to say afterthought, but added after the fact. Like I feel like a lot of my pieces, the way they're glitched, they kind of already have like implied motion in them. So the motion leap really helps because it kind of just really brings that to the forefront. But I think it'd be really cool to like start making stuff meant to be animated from the get-go rather than kind of just adding it after I already have like a complete image, that what I consider to be a complete image.
Yeah, I tried because my background more is videography than photography. So I tried actually making it was a sunset that was extremely overcast, and I decided to try and make that more of a glitch thing. And it worked okay at times, but
yeah, that's the other thing I noticed about it. It's kind of hit or miss. Like it's hard to tell. Like sometimes it looks really good and seamless, and other times it's like, oh, this is just not working at all. And I've yet to kind of like hone it and figure out what makes one work well and what doesn't. It kind of seems like a toss up right now when I try to do it.
well, that's art in many ways.
Yeah, that's true. Very true.
I mean, what makes a Mona Lisa great and just another portrait not so great? It's all
very, very true. Yes, it's very subjective.
So, but I noticed this piece looked like an animated version of Day 6, your birthday special for
Yes.
the 8th, which was, as we're recording this, is yesterday. So, happy birthday for them.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Uh,
Yeah. So I made that one the day 6. That was for the Nine Inch Nails song "The Becoming," and after I finished it, that was just one that was kind of screaming out to me. It's like, oh, this one would look really cool if there was kind of like this pulling apart, breaking, sort of looping animation on it. And I tried to edit it that way, and I think it turned out pretty, at least how I envisioned it in my mind. So there are some times where some of them just kind of stick out to me as like, this one would look great like that. And so I did.
yeah. Then there's also this new series, the Tales from the Glitch, the Hollow Bones.
Yes, yes. So that is a very interesting project that I can't really take full credit for it. It's kind of the brainchild of a friend of mine. So if you go on Twitter or Instagram, he has his own handle and everything for it. It's just Tales from the Glitch. He's his name's Rick, and he is a very talented science fiction writer. He
Rick
creates
Galbraith.
these. Yep, yep. Rick Galbraith. He makes these incredible, futuristic dystopian cyberpunk sort of settings. And he came to me a couple months ago and was like, "I have this really cool idea for this giant multimedia project where I'm going to create." Like he'd been working on this world for a while that the story takes place in, and he wanted. I mean, if you go to his Instagram account, you can kind of see he's already done it, where he kind of finds a lot of really awesome contemporary working glitch artists and 3D artists and cyberpunk artists, and kind of pairs his writing with their imagery. But he wanted to kind of take it a step further, and he's like, I'm going to get a musician on board. We're going to make specific songs composed to pair with images that you specifically make for a little piece of writing that I make. And we just and then he wanted to mint them all as an NFT and kind of sell it. And it's kind of this cool idea because it gives the collector incentive to buy them all, because you need to have all the pieces to get the full story. And he also has a lot of really cool ideas. I don't want to spoil too much about unlockable content that we're hoping to kind of package with the future releases. We just released our first one like 2 weeks ago, and it sold like the first day, which is really awesome. And yeah, I'm really excited about that, and to see kind of where it goes from here, because I feel like there's a lot of potential with it.
Yeah, they look amazing. I mean, some of the sounds a little creepy to go with some of it as well. Yeah.
Yes, very. Yeah, and that's Torley. He made all the music for it, and he's a great composer.
So Rick makes the story and stuff. You do sort of the art, and Torley does the audio.
Correct. That's it right now. And I think Rick has plans to. I think he's going to try to open it up more as we go. Right now, it's just the three of us, but I think he kind of wants to make it to be a bigger, more collaborative project. So I think he has plans to bring on some other visual artists eventually, which is totally cool with me, because I think, I enjoy the stuff I make, but I kind of have one kind of vibe that I go for. And I think this project would benefit from having kind of a variety of imagery involved in it. So I'm kind of really excited to see where it goes from here.
Yeah, I'm looking at your at the picture, and one thing I'm noticing is a lot of women in them as figures.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I try not to like favor specifically women. Like, in fact, I've been trying to use more male models in some of my imagery, kind of like the Becoming one, just because I don't want to like throw shade at anyone, but I feel like there's a lot of like glitch art of kind of naked to half naked women, and I don't want to say like it's like easy, but it's kind of a, for me, I'll only speak for myself. I feel like it can be a crutch sometimes. So now I'm trying to be more just kind of intentional with, does this model or this person meet my end goal better, rather than just kind of starting with a sexy picture of a woman and hoping it looks cool at the end. But it works a lot. So
just looking at some others. So day 5, for instance, we're in this together. That almost looks like that could almost be a photo from the California wildfires or something.
Yeah, totally. And that's kind of like, I was really trying to go for that with the imagery, kind of like that song has such a driving, energetic chorus. Like, and it's just, I don't want to say it's angry, but there's just a lot of emotion, and like especially the way that Trent just belts the, you and me, we're in this together now. And I kind of really wanted to have that sense of intensity and danger in there, but also, as long as they're together, they can overcome it, kind of thing. So that's totally the vibe I was going for. So I'm glad it came across that way to you.
How did the whole first 30? Which is your favorite?
Ooh, that's a good one. It's hard because I feel like I'm always really into the most current one I made, but then if I start to look at them too long, I start to like almost, I don't want to say I hate them, but like I just spend too much time looking at them. One of the ones that I feel pretty proud of is I really like Day 17, the Mr. Self Destruct image. That one just felt so raw to me, and some of them I feel like it's a bit of a stretch making the connection to the song. Some of them I feel like are a little bit better of kind of pairing the song and the image together. But the Mr. Self Destruct image, I was like, I feel like I fully encapsulated that song. Like, it just screams that song to me. I'm a huge fan of that one.
I'm a huge fan of teeth.
Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of teeth in that one. I just felt so visceral and kind of angry and lashing out to me. Yeah.
The teeth just kind of creep me out a little in a way, the way the.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm looking at it now.
Sorry about that.
But getting a reaction to any piece of art is always a good thing, right?
Oh, totally, yeah. And I definitely, I wanted that one to be uncomfortable, so it's doing its job, it appears.
And then from there you go to the very next day, which could almost look like sort of a 60s impressionist piece in many ways, the While I'm Still Here.
Yeah, and yeah, I also, and I feel like, especially like if you just look at those two and you put them side by side, I kind of love that juxtaposition of kind of the anger and the serenity. And I feel like that speaks a lot to Trent's music. Like, you have such a wide variety of emotions and sounds, and you can go from just like this, like it really resonates with me, kind of like the experience of seeing Nine Inch Nails live, because he'll have like the super loud, intense, angry songs, and then he'll just follow it up with something super low key and chill and mellow and beautiful. And I've always kind of respect that a lot, his use of dynamics. So I've been trying to do that with the art as best I can. So
you certainly worked a lot, and you say 26 is where people actively wanted it. That's had a very Egyptian vibe to me.
Yes, it did, and that one is probably my least glitchy of them all. It's kind of very, if you kind of look at them all, that one really sticks out to me. It's very different because I didn't really, like, I didn't use my pixel sorting for that at all. That's all just kind of like straight up Photoshop, playing around with colors and lines. And yeah, I don't, because the image definitely kind of spoke to me as happiness is slavery. Like, before I started editing it. And then I basically kind of just tried to bring out the colors, if that makes sense, kind of like synesthesia, like what colors does this song feel like to me? And this is kind of the vibe I got from the song. And yeah, I don't know, something about it, it kind of, whether the algorithm just liked me that day or whether it's really that good, that one's probably been like my most successful social media wise out of the first 30 days so far. And yeah, like we said, a collector really wanted me to mint it, so I mint it, and it is in his collection now.
There's two things it reminds me of. The first is the box art for Deluxe Paint 3 that came on the Amiga.
Yeah, I can kind of see that.
Had a Tutankhamun head on it, so the Egyptian with the yellow and black bars.
Yeah.
The second is a James Bond title sequence.
Oh, I can totally see that.
You get the woman, the silhouette, the light playing on it and stuff. It's very reminiscent of of an Albert Broccoli opening sequence to a Bond film.
Oh no, I can totally see that, especially with like the wavy lines and everything. Yeah.
And the swimsuit and the woman. Yeah, it's perfect.
Yes. Oh.
That's so yeah. That was just. I just really like that. It's.
Thank you.
It gives a different vibe to the glitch. It's not just all broken pixels and. Then, say 2 days later, somewhat damaged, very almost monochrome in a way, but just the reds and the darks.
Yeah, that one actually took me quite a while. Like the image came together pretty quickly, but I spent probably the majority of the time playing around with the colors. I really, at first, I had a multicolored version of it, and then I kind of had a black and white version of it, and that didn't feel right. So then I basically spent like an hour with just making a gradient map in Photoshop and kind of just slowly tweaking a gradient with various reds and blacks in there until I kind of got the emphasis that I really wanted on it. And I kind of really tried to emphasize those repeating lines kind of coming out of the head of the figure and the dripping down from the bottom of the hands. That was another one I kind of felt a little proud of, just because I spent a lot of time making very subtle changes to that one.
As a reminder, that you show those toys are like the little ant farm, the glass things. You turn them upside down with the two colors of sand, and they'd give the waves with the bubble in.
Yes, I remember those toys. Yeah, I can totally see that.
Again, yeah, that's a beautiful way to actually get it drawn out into art.
Oh, thank you.
So I don't do much art myself. I'm a robotics kind of guy. I have no art credentials, but yeah, all of these works are absolutely beautiful, and
I appreciate that.
It's been great seeing them and hearing your explanation of them.
Oh, no, thank you very much. Yeah, and today, like we said, I just posted, was it day 35? So I still have quite a ways to go, but I'm feeling good about it. And yeah, I'm excited to see on day 101, look back and kind of see them all together. It'd be kind of cool to try to like present them all in some way at some point, like some sort of video. Yeah, there you go. That'd be a great idea. One of the other reasons why I really got into this too is because I felt like I was spending a little too much time trying to sell and promote NFTs, and I was kind of not making a lot. So I was trying to get back on the habit of putting out new works. And then also I wasn't like really posting to any of my social media. So I've been trying to do like a big effort to try to get these out there. So I'm posting them on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, Tumblr, LO, some Discord channels I'm in every day. So I don't, pretty much, if you want to follow along with this, go on your social network of choice and just type in JRDSCTT, and I'm sure you'll see them in some capacity.
And you can say most of your works that you put up for sale are available on Maker's Place.
Correct. Yeah, that's my main That is my main store, makersplace.com/JRDSCTT. That's where all the NFTs of these ones will be at some point when they're minted.
Again, I'll put a link to that in the description.
Appreciate that.
So, and along with your social media. So it's been great talking to you. It's been a wonderful 35, 40 minutes or so talking with you. And I hope everything goes well. And again, happy birthday for yesterday.
Thank you very much. Yeah, and thanks for reaching out to me. This has been a lot of fun. I appreciate you showing interest in my work, and I'm super excited to see the video you compile of this. Looking forward to it. Thank you, man.
Right? You take care now. Right?
Cool. You too. Bye.